time, you'll judge birds or see birds in show pens that haven't been handled and they fly all over the place. No matter how good the bird is, it will not be successful. Now, this is a bird I've prepared earlier. No. She's straight out of the pen. I haven't touched her since last show season. As you can see, very quiet, very trusting. Pretty much, you can stand her in a show pen and she will go straight into position because that's how she's been trained today.
Take her off, Brett.
She wants that boat. That's what she wants. Okay, so that's how quiet they've got to be. She's just rising a first year hen. And I haven't handled her much. She's been in a breeding pen up until tonight when I took her out.
So how much time in the breeding pen would it take you to get her ready?
In a show pen? With depending on the breed, of course, some breeds are much more flighty than others. Some strains are much more flighty than others. Luckily these aren't too bad. However, I have a little exercise. Somebody. This one is one that I have not prepared. Now, when you handle chooks, there's a certain way you catch them to alleviate their stress. You see a lot of people just dive into a pen and grab them over the top. That's how a predator attacks a bird. They attack them from the top. So you've got to come in underneath. And what I do is you grab the leg between there, grab the wing, turn the bird over, and pick it up like that. She'll sit comfy like that, hold up. She's not stressed. This bird has not been handled since she was a chicken. I pulled her out of the pen. So she is still a bit silly. To handle a bird, to hold a bird, finger between the legs, fingers and thumb around the back of the legs, cup them in your hand. Doesn't matter what size the bird is, they'll sit there. Bigger birds, turn them, rest them on your arm. You can carry them around all day like that. That bird is not stressed and will not be stressed in any way, shape or form. She's still a wild bird. Next issue you come to is once you've got the bird caught and you put them in a pen, is how you start to train them. Depending on the breed, you want to either train them to stand up or you want to train them to stand down, like your pecans and the knees. You don't want them standing up, you want them standing down. Just like that. In one of these pens, I work with 3 at a time. That gives you time to work around. By the time you've calmed one and you've got to the third one, the first one's starting to get a bit agitated again, you can come back and calm them down. When you've got the bird, I always like to let the bird go into the cage by itself. It's got to be confident in the pen. So I just let it walk off my head. Sometimes I'll go, sometimes I won't. Now she's quite flighty. She's quiet in what she's doing today because at night time they're not quiet. Okay, then that bird, I just work around with her, put my hand in the cage with her, and try and position her how I want her to be. The first thing I use is carpet. I sit them out on carpet. They don't like carpet, so they're a lot less inclined to run around the pen. They're more inclined to go, shit, I don't like this, I'm going to stand quiet. Gives you a lot easier time to work with. So what you're aiming to do with the Japanese is to make them stand short, tail up, tickle them behind the tail, they generally put it up. And you just work around the bird, put your hand in the cage, let them get confident. I've got a cage like this, I've got a hole cut in there where I can put my hand through, and I just put my hand in, and when they run around I just let my hand run over the bird. So she runs under my hand, and can come out. I'm not holding her, I'm not trying to restrict her movement in any way. I'm just trying to get her confident with my hand in the pen. And a judge comes, he's going to put his hand in the pen. He's not going to be so gentle usually. So you've got to get that bird so quiet that it doesn't matter whose hand it is. When they come in, when they see this judge with the hand come in, you want them to pull up and show themselves. So She's going to go. A really good way to quieten a flighty bird. This may seem rather perverted. With young males, run your hand down his back, like that. I hope to say it is a sexual experience for the bird and he enjoys it and he will be quite happy to be handled. Seriously, he will be quite happy. You don't want to get him off, you just want to quieten and make him comfortable in your hand, so like that. With the females on, you stroke them up under there. Not on the bum, just above there and just stroke them there like that. Both sexes, stroke the wattles to calm them right down and tap your fingernail on their beaks. They love it. So you just work with that bird for about half an hour at a time. Another trick you can do when you're training birds, some birds just want to go to the back of the pen. So we build the pen that has the back a lot closer. So then she'll show herself to the side, or he'll show himself side on, which is usually how you want to really play a bird. So you can bring the pen up. If you want to get really serious, you put the feed on both sides. One day you put it there, one day you put it there. The reason being, some judges are right-handed, some judges are left-handed. If the judge has only been trained, the bird's only been trained with the right hand, when the left hand comes in, they'll bolt to the other side. It's foreign. They get used to what they get used to. You want to make the bird come to the front and stand to you, make the pen narrow. You're training pen narrow, so the bird has to stand narrow. After a while it becomes natural to them. For birds like pecans and these, you want them to stand low. If they're particularly flighty during the day, put them in a pen, get some hessian or something, cover the top part of the pen, leave about that much open. All day the bird's going to see something and it's going to be like this. After a while it becomes natural. Something like a modern game, you want them to stand up, you do the opposite. Cover it up till there, you put your feed and waters up high, make them look. And then after a while it's just second nature, no matter any noise or upsetting thing with the bird, they naturally will look. In a stressful situation like a show, and lots of noise, they'll naturally have been trained to look where you want them to look. Up, that's nice and high.
A little bit. There's an old fellow we used to talk about, Jimmy O'Malley. He used to be renowned for osteroids. He was probably one of the best showmen ever, probably. And he'd get an ostrich cockerel, and he'd come home from work and he'd sit there with it for an hour, every hour. And the same guy actually brought a Langshan cockerel from another guy we know, and he was a bit of a cunning old fellow, but he was judging it. He put it in the third spot or something. Then he went and brought it. He bought it for 1 guinea and he sold it back to the same guy next year for 22 guineas. He didn't even realise it. He didn't realise it was his bird. He'd done it up so well. So poor old Keith couldn't believe it. He brought his own bird back for.
Terry, if the bird's dusty on the surface and you don't wash it, is there anything you...
Silk cloth. So these things are supposed to ease quite, you know. These things are supposed to be like have a lovely vertical green sheen, and so you can the silk hangs can bring that out. Any of these coloured birds, you know, black birds with a coloured sheen on. You see all these blokes run into the shed with their silk cloth, shining all their birds up. But so as I said, it's just time. You've really got to put time in. And as Greg was saying, there's another trick with the food. If you reckon your bird's got a better profile on one side than the other, you can actually train it to stand which way you want it to face the judge. There used to be a guy who used to have beautiful looking ostrich, and you'd see them side on and they'd be fantastic. You know, we'd have them trained so that when the judge came along, all he'd see was side on. When he turned around and they faced the front, they were no shake to them at all.
So Terry, a difference with your bird here, you've got feathers on the leg, right?
Yeah.
Are there any issues about getting birds in great shape with feathers on legs compared to birds without?
Well, you got to if you go to show them, you obviously can't have them scratch around too much. So you need to have them on a litter somewhere.
Terry, if like the lambshams aren't meant to have feathers on their leg, their middle toe,
No.
if you have a couple of things, is it okay to tweak them out?
No, it's not okay, but everyone does it. The whole trouble is, this is where it comes into showing or breeding, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you breed langshangs that haven't got any middle toe feathers, they're going to lose all their foot feather. So, you know.
And we're talking about
So,
this, but that's normal.
yeah, but as I was saying, if you go to the fad of trying to breed your langies without that middle feather, you lose all the outside feather.
Yeah.
It's like you got the, like lamb are supposed to have black feet, black legs, white toenails, white soles. If you keep all your birds with white soles and don't, same with ocelotts, if you don't keep some that have got a bit of black in the sole, eventually you start losing your colour. You lose your green sheen, you start getting white beaks, you start getting, you lose the pigments. You've got to balance it up. Some of your breeders will never be show birds, and some of your show birds will never be breeders.
Like that's why on our masters, when we interviewed Peter Ubrian's father, Paul, was probably one of the best breeders that we've ever seen. But he used to say to people, because they'd come into his yard and say, oh, why have you got that with that? You know, right? He said, don't judge him here, judge him at the show.
That's a fair comment.
Yeah, so, but those guys, they just had the knack of seeing two birds and they know they're just going to click. So, whereas, you know, they had their great advantage because those days they used to be able to keep so many different breeds of chooks everywhere, whereas now it's too expensive to do that. Like old Claude used to have one breed at one farm, he'd get that farm to look after them, have another breed at another farm. I think he had something like 10 or 15 farms going with different breeds of chooks. So then he just decided to go around and pick out the ones he wanted to take to the show, which ones he wanted them to breed with, and they had marvellous birds, absolutely marvellous birds. But these, I was going to bring in a couple of old English Queanbeyan to show you what the wild side of things were like, but I couldn't catch
Well, Terry, thanks a lot for that. It's fantastic.
Terry and Greg have covered quite a bit of what I was going to say. I actually have a team of year 8 girls who come down every recess and lunchtime and do what you guys have just done. They put them in the pens, they get them out, they oil up their combs and faces, just get them used to being in there. If we go back a step, the birds that won in Sydney last week were hatched at the end of July, early August. So for me, the show preparation starts the long weekend in June. I take the birds home from the national show out at Epic. I turn the lights on in the sheds. Within 2 weeks, the hens are laying. Put the eggs in. 3 weeks later, we've got our first chickens out. They are the chickens that we showed last week. So that's how far ahead we're planning on having our show team ready. And of course, this year Easter's early, 3 weeks into March. Sometimes it's in April. This is one of the later hatches. And he was crowing there a while ago, which is why we've got to have our birds locked up because the neighbours complain up there in Surveyor Street. But he's not ready. If you come along and have a look, he's got all his pin feathers here. His hackle feathers, right? They're not out yet. Give him another month, and he'll be out his pin feather like his brothers. You can see all the pin feathers down here. What Greg was saying about the birds with your females, they'll keep gaining weight until they start laying. As soon as they're putting that food in eggs, they actually lose body condition. So they go backwards. So if you've got a bird that should be a certain weight ready for judging, as Greg said, you've got to have them ready just when they start laying, because they're in full bloom and then they start going downhill and they actually lose body condition as they're like cows and goats will do the same thing when they start milking. You have a heifer or a goat being in good body condition. As soon as she starts filling it over twice a day with milk, she actually loses body condition. So it's a good point that Greg made. So these fellas get taken out of the pens, put out on the lawn, and then so they get used to being handled. Teaching the students how to hold the birds, putting them in the pens. Right, and we've got just hold their tail, just let them pull away from you as he goes into the. He's not being shoved in the pen. He's walking away, and then he'll turn around and have a look.
That's what his brother did.
Yeah,
exactly.
They get a copy. This little girl has never been in a pen before, right? And does it right immediately. She crouched down. Right? She thought someone was just going to grab her. They're out running on the lawn. She's not comfortable at all. She's crouching down. And the same thing will happen. The judge comes to the pen, and what's she going to do? She's not going to show herself off. She's going to crouch in the corner. It only takes a couple of days. Now she's not too bad. She's coming out to have a look now. It only takes a couple of days for them to become confident that what we're doing is not going to hurt them. Right? The being caught, put in the pen, taken out, handled, is not an unpleasant experience for the bird, which is great. This hen was shown Sydney Royal last year, also at the National in June. She hasn't been in a pen since June. She was in the breeding pen, and then they've just been running out. We thought she might have gone to Sydney last week, but when we picked her up and had a look at her, okay.